Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the next game in the tournament, the Endgame Gear Masters, and today we go from one awesome game to the next. Now we're looking at Skutt versus Longwalk, another Undead versus Nightelf, and all the way down to the bottom of the map, we are looking at Longwalk, our Nightelf player. As up to the top right in yellow, we have the Undead now checking in as well. Crypt altar opening from him. And should be a good one. Actually honestly, this tournament so far has been pretty amazing. The Sonic Mad Frog match was spectacular. I mean, I'm not quite sure what I expected going into that game, but I definitely know that it did not turn out the way that I expected. But as it stands, again, this is the Endgame Gear Master Qualifier number 2. The tournament features a prize pool of 2,500 euros, and that prize pool plus additional hardware is available at the final event, the final tournament. And through the qualifiers, the players can gather points. This is the second qualifier, so already a lot of them participated in qualifier number 1, which was taken by Foggy, who got 6 points for the rankings and currently has the number 1 spot there. But there's an offline final included for the main event, and this is going to take place at the Esports Factory in Germany, in Osnabrück to be exact, on the 17th of August. And it's open to the public. The players are going to be there. I'm going to be there as well. And if you're interested in attending, maybe stop by with a couple of friends and enjoy the barbecue and the games, then you should head over to endgamegear-masters.com and just have a look at the website where all the additional information are displayed. So it would be awesome to see a few of you there. And obviously we're still trying to figure out which players will be at the event as well. Bit of a scout going on already from Skutt as he moved down to the bottom left. We're having Longwalk now with the keeper opening. We're talking about that bad boy a lot. And yeah, the Frog is playing his next game as well. Mad Frog, successful in the previous game against Sonic, and the way that that game panned out, still pretty amazing to me. Yeah, bit of an oversupply, so the good old cancel trick here in action. And in the meantime, we're seeing the Death Knight also on the move. And as you can tell, immediately in the inventory, the Dust of Appearance. So once that Knight hits in WarCraft, we are not going to have any kind of Shadowstalk shenanigans happening, or Shadow Melt shenanigans with the archers. Already, Skutt is trying to get some experience here. He's waiting for the last hit with the coil against the Nightcrawler. Gets one hit in and takes it. No surround against him, even with the Treants. And that's obviously a big move. I mean, as an Undead player, if you're going to harass a Night Elf, the first thing that you really want to check out when you see a Keeper is, what does he open up with? Does he go into the Entangle? Does he go into Treants? And if there's no Entangle, then you know you're a little bit freer in just attacking. You can't just simply be entangled and surrounded. You still have to be careful that the Treants are not going to be used for the exact same thing, but you definitely have the opportunity to play that a little bit. The detonate on the Wisp to save that, and another attempt, this one taken out too. So that's 2 Wisps down already, and he's going to try and work on a few more here. So Skutt with a really annoying aggression into the early game here against his Night Elf opponent. We have the good old Goldmine play, an attempt to see if they can maybe buddy block the Death Knight a little bit. That didn't so far work out. The Keeper is already on level 2, so him creeping gives him level 2. We have in the main base a couple of ghouls now being built, actually a fair amount with 6 in total for Skutt, and he's going to make sure that he gets some experience by himself, just creeping with ghouls only. Graveyard is being built, and the Death Knight is still doing what he is supposed to do. Annoy the hell out of this opponent. So that's exactly what's happening here right now. With this said, we're having Skutt now still trying to also get items. In this case, we have the Staff of Teleportation taken. Down to the bottom right of the map, Longwalk is already attempting to get some extra XP and get closer to level 3. Items are also going to be important for him. And for now, we are having the Keeper with the +6 attack, claws of attack. Same time, the Tree of Life is being built, so we're going to have the expansion from Longwalk early on, trying to go for an expand here. And the tech into Tier 2 is happening at the same time. Death Knight hasn't really figured all of that out yet. There was no scout at the bottom right. He's going to try and get that in soon. Still harassing the Wisps as much as he can and trying to keep Longwalk's attention in the main base, as he himself is starting to creep more and more with the ghouls that we've been highlighting earlier. Wand of Illusion gets dropped over here. Has to, of course, recover all of these items later on. And there go the Forest Trolls. One down, second one eliminated too. In comes the Keeper, and by now that Keeper has obviously also Entangle. so can start to become a little bit more annoying, and that's exactly what happens. But there's the immediate Staff of Teleportation. So nicely done. No stun. You can obviously staff out of this, and it helps him also to join the ghouls and therefore claim the items that were dropped earlier. The problem is really that once the expansion is set, if there's no scout, that can become a bit of a problem, because taking down the sheep immediately, the body blocks of the sheep, and then just getting murdered there. Yeah, so that bad boy is dead too. With this, we're having, thanks to the Wand of Illusion, creep at the top, but as it turns out, Longwalk is there, and that's a fantastic creep check for him. Gets the entangle in on the first ghoul. There's already an attempt to save a few of them. One coil is all that he has right now. Ghoul down, and he's trying to he's trying to move away with the rest of them, but that's not happening. Second one falls. That's the level 3 for the Keeper, and the Death Knight doesn't have level 3 yet. He's just moving his units back over to the Augur Magi. In the meantime, we're having the base down here getting entangled. Death Knight is moving in. We're also seeing gargoyles now. It is gargoyle time, baby! So this is going to be fairly annoying here for the Nightelf. Back in the days, it was one of the strategies that Ixlord really liked to employ when he pulled off another one of his 5-0s. And you can really harass the shit out of the Nightelf player if you play that well. But you also have to make sure that you're never really losing any. You can't afford to lose gargoyles. That's the big problems with them. So you need to really build it up to a point where you have a really superior army. You just snipe your opponent, you harass him, you take down as many of the wisps as you can, try to really make sure that he runs into a shortage of supply on lumber, and then eventually poke around that. So with the first few gargoyles in the mix, he is obviously going to be a focus from Longwalk to try and defend here. Eventually we might even see him add a couple of ancient protectors here. Depends all on how many gargoyles are really going to be spec'd into, but normally we're talking about a double crypt play here, and we already have 2 crypts, and more gargoyles are getting built as well. It helps you also with the creep, obviously. I mean, right now, here on Concealed Hill, you still have the opportunity to go into a couple of those camps. If they're red drakes, for example, it's an easy take for you. But for now, we're having Skutt trying to expand and also getting the Gloves of Haste here with the Lich. Now, as in the main base, there is just the Halls of the Dead. There's no tech in tier 3 yet. It also means that we do not have an Orb of Corruption for the Lich. Acolyte is already moving over. That tells Longwalk all that he needs to know at this point. But this Keeper is going to be intercepted, and, well, the Death Knight is currently on level 3. So the Keeper very likely going to be forced... Nah, I can move away here. For a second I was thinking he might be forced into the town portal, but no. There's also the confirmation that there is indeed an expansion. And in an ideal world, with a Panda now as the second hero, Longwalk would try to shut that down. If he's able to accomplish that, if he can shut down that expand, that would be absolutely fantastic for him. The Panda obviously now also in play because he has the additional AoE, and you really try to get some area of effect damage in against gargoyles. Once they cluster up, you get insane damage due to that. And we're seeing the Potion of Greater Mana, so that's pretty awesome for him. Nice steal with a Nova as he comes in to take that down. Yep, and the gargoyles are now doing what gargoyles do, trying to go straight for the base and take this apart here. We have a few dryads added to the mix, and that's always the weird interplay. Dryads are obviously unarmored, whereas gargoyles deal piercing damage, so it's a really weird setup because you want to have a couple of dryads available so that they can slow down the gargoyles, which helps you to take them down. And there's obviously also the damage over time. But at the same time, if the gargoyles get any kind of focus against the dryads, they usually fall very quickly. Another attempt, yep, there's the cancel, and the portal has been focused. But it's a good move, actually, because it means that this expansion hasn't really done anything yet for Skutt. So the Undead player is in a position where Longwalk has been shutting down his additional income, where the Nightelf has already now crossed over into the low upkeep, and at the same time is at 900 gold. So there's a huge amount of resources and a big advantage to that Longwalk can call his own. It's going to become a little bit of a question of how much can those gargoyles do now. Because in the worst case scenario, you would have to give up this expansion all the way up to the top, and then it's all about how much the gargoyles can really pull off there. This one is already set up, but you can see that there's no ancient protectors actually added. And that means that all of those wisps are now in trouble. 1 down, 2 down, and it's really just starting to shorten the supply in wood here. Another one down, tries to go for the dryad as well, and that is starting to become a problem. But as I said before, Longwalk has the opportunity to go for the expansion. There is no Spirit Tower. There is nothing that really stops him from attacking this. That's exactly what Longwalk is doing. And now those Dryads are going to be forced, the Gargoyles are going to be forced to make a decision. Do you just harass the opponent, or do you try to save your expansion? And he has to make that choice soon. Longwalk is at 187 wood, so he's not completely out of it yet. But it seems like Skutt is totally willing to give this expansion up, since he realizes it will be too difficult for him to hold it. Brewmaster is on level 2, and now the attack comes down to the bottom of the map again. Another Wisp is eventually going to fall, be it the one on the left or the right, doesn't really matter. Yep, this one is down 2, and now he's trying to go for the Moonwells. The problem that Longwalk now has is that he can't simply attack the main base of the Undead player. You really don't want to do that. By now we have the tag into the Black Citadel, but an Undead main base is really difficult to take down. And therefore, that's not really happening anytime soon. Blight in and of itself gives an advantage to the Undead, and at the same time you're dealing with the Black Citadel or as well, if the upgrade went through. Nice body blocks there regardless though. And there's another setup against the Death Knight. Death Knight doesn't have the Staff of Teleportation anymore. That is on the Lich. There comes a quick coil to make sure that there's no additional body blocks happening. Oh, but he actually turns around. Yeah, a bit of a pathing issue right there. And now the Death Knight might fall. Gets one more slow in. Panda, does he have the cooldown? Oh my god. The unholy aura making it possible at this point. So Skutt with 41 supply is able to move out. In the meantime, he's still been attacking with those gargoyles on +1 attack upgrades. We're seeing Longwalk on 500 wood though. 1,500 gold right now. And yeah, he actually has a lot of wood available again. So a lot of lumber here for him. So with this, we're now also still seeing the single base for Skutt, and well, it's starting to become a little bit more tricky for him, because obviously he still has those gargoyles, but he has 2 attack upgrades now, and he needs to try and snipe as much as he can, but he hasn't really accomplished what he was setting out to do. The lumber support is still there, at least to an extent. Gold obviously is there plenty, which allows the Nightelf player now to easily also buy additional items if he ever wants them. And no additional upgrades anymore, but it's all about trying to use those gargoyles now to maybe shut down these gold mines. And that's probably what he's going to attempt to do now at the bottom left, and that's exactly what's happening. But the Keeper is already there, and I guess eventually, Tree of Ages, not Tree of Eternity by the way, eventually we might see also a few additional orbs coming out. So there's another quick kill. Once that you can one-shot units, it's really going to be incredibly annoying for the Night Elf. And this is oftentimes a very drawn-out style. But that up to the top with the Ancient Protector is another nuisance, because whenever you're now trying to send, let's say, an Acolyte over in the middle of your harass, where you're trying to occupy your opponent and build another base, it's not going to be possible for you. So in this case, Lich at the front is taking all of the damage. Yeah, needs to make sure that it's on one of the units that he can coil easily. Orgalord goes down, and that gives us... Woo, baby! Now we're talking! Khadgar's Pipe of Insight. Yep. Death Knight likes to smoke the pipe here and get the additional regeneration. That's going to be pretty amazing for him, so that's going to be nice. And again, Undead heroes are obviously the key to an Undead success, and if they have a lot of mana available, that's pretty much what you're setting out to do. So with that done, we're now also having a Longwalk again with 2 Scrolls of Healing already. Actually, in total he has 3 as an additional one on the Keeper. So he is really setting out for that. The weird part is still that normally when you're going up against an opponent, those scrolls, like in this case, Skutt that goes into a gargoyle focus, scrolls of healing usually don't really do the trick for you, because most of the time you lose units very, very quickly. So it's not like there's a lot of AoE available and you have to deal with that somehow. It's more the on-point damage with a quick gargoyle focus and a Coil Nova behind it that starts to become the issue for you. When it comes to hero levels, we have a 4-3 setup for the Undead, and he's still trying to get, obviously, additional experience points here. Just creeping one spot after another. And Longwalk is pretty much trying to do the same thing. I mean, obviously his game plan is to get that Panda as high as he possibly can. And, well, the Keeper will hit level 4 very soon too. But when the Panda is in a really good spot and has nearly endless mana, thanks to what we're seeing here, you can destroy gargoyles quickly. And this one is already incredibly low. In the meantime, tier 3 has been reached. He's still at 48 supply, so he has never crossed over into the low upkeep. Having still that base running for Longwalk, and he is at 80 supply right now. He's at 80 supply, he's taking into tier 3, and it's starting to become really rough for the Undead. Not getting that second base through was an issue. In an ideal world, you're trying to occupy your opponent long enough so you can build the second base, and then you can capitalize on that without any problem at all. But as you can tell right now, there's another snipe at the gold mine. Well, the army is at least all the way at the top. Okay, Stoneform is being used to heal them up, but the archers are back in. And more units are taken down. We're even having a couple of Druids of the Claw on Adept training now moving in. There's an attempted snipe against the Dryads. You might get one. Oh, what? Yeah, okay, there we have it. Shots are coming in, but the Moonwells are so close that isn't a problem. Health Stone now 2. That is pretty solid if you are trying to save a hero that gets nuked and coiled the entire time here. I mean, eventually you need to make a bit of a play here, Skutt that is. So he's trying to get a few ghouls in too. He has crossed over into the low upkeep as well. Ghouls obviously do pretty well against an archer army. But those gargoyles with now the 2 attack upgrades and no armor still have a chance to harass the opponent enough. But again, you look over to the base and it's 1,000 gold, it's 400 lumber, so that's a lot that you can use there. More wisps on the map have just been scattered around and been taken down. There's another opportunity to maybe take this apart too. Keeper on level 4, still full of items, and as predicted earlier, we now also have the Orb of Venom. Plus 11 on the attack, and here comes the move from Skutt. Longwalk is actually in the high upkeep now. Has crossed above 80, and here's the attack, and we are having 2-3 scrolls of healing as well available for the Undead player, which is definitely needed because that AoE that we see for Longwalk is going to become a big problem. Trying to take the shop down again and shutting that down as quickly as he can, pulling exactly that off. So he's able to take that down. Another snipe against the Dryads, and that's where the piercing damage comes in. Trying to go for the Death Knight here, who's nearly level 5, level 4 now for the Lich too, and they still have full of mana there. And the snipe against the Dryads, one after another. Scroll of Healing being used by Longwalk already. Skutt down to 54 supply, 82 still for Longwalk. He has a massive army there, but also a lot of economy supply. Death Knight on level 5, and they go for the Keeper, and even with the Health Stone, that's going to be the end of him. If they just can chase him down a little bit more, that's going to be it for him, but the Lich is also in trouble. There needs to be another coil. He gets the coil through. The Keeper is already on the run. Wasn't able to take him down here. Skutt with 33 supplies, still fighting for it, trying to see if he can maybe get the hero, and there's the level 3 Death Coil. Takes down the Keeper. He's down, but the Death Knight is in trouble. Tries to move away here, gets body blocked again, makes it to the shop though. Is he able to buy something? He has the money. Another Coil Nova attempt against the Panda this time, gets the town portal and has to move out, getting the hell out of there. Down goes another Dryad potentially, but the big problem is obviously that Skutt is down to 31 supply, Longwalk is sitting at 68, and guess what? One of the two has a double economy running that will help them now to replenish the army. The bottom of the map, 1,700 gold in the base. Up to the top, we have 1,700 as well. Yeah, and this is starting to become tricky for Skutt. High-level heroes, which is fantastic for him, but there's a desperate attempt now to get a base into play. And as you can see, this one is going to get scouted already. I mean, there's only so many spots where you can build another base on this map, and Skutt now has lost the opportunity to expand on the left. Over here, we still have the Orgolord in play, so that's not going to be an option for him either. He can only rely on those heroes and try to get another quick kill against the Keeper. And that in itself is going to be difficult. Another hit, and well, he can take down all of those units. He has the aura, that is going to help him a lot. So one after another, the Wisps are taken down. The problem still exists, 72 supply for Longwalk. Longwalk is looking great here, and the amount of gargoyles that we have, I mean, obviously there's only 5-6 left and not much more than that. Another attempt to get maybe the Lich onto level 5 is going to be able to successfully pull that off. Another big item would be helpful. Getting the Nova onto level 3 is obviously another huge advantage that you could play around. We're having him with a Claws of Attack plus 12. That's plus 17 damage now on the Lich, which definitely is nothing to sneeze on. Or sneeze at, but we have the Lich on level 5, so he gets the Nova. Is that going to be enough? The big problem with Dryads, obviously, is that those little fuckers are magic immune. So you can't nuke them and can't do anything there. You have to focus your attention on the heroes and on the archers. It's one of the main reasons why Dryads are built against Undead in the first place. I mean, there's others of course as well, but it definitely helps. So the question still remains, can he starve out a Nightelf player that is comfortably sitting at 2 bases and still has a lot of extra gold available to himself? Another attempt to go for a base? No, not yet. Level 5 Lich, by the way, also with the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Could definitely see that being passed over to the Death Knight eventually. Yep, there's another quick snipe at one of the Wisps. Another camp. And a camp at this point is not going to give you any experience anymore. With both of the heroes on level 5, obviously this is not to get experience, this is just to get gold through the creeps that are taken down to get the items. And in this case, we're having him also with a Parrot of Vitality now. Nearly 1,000 hit points on the Death Knight. Definitely going to be helpful for him. Both of the heroes, by the way, with the Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, so my bad, not only the Lich. I'd still pass it over. Finds finally that Ancient of War and takes it apart too. But here comes Longwalk. In comes Johnny. Longwalk wants to fight and his Panda is on level 5 as well. So going to be tough to deal with him. Has the Boots of Speed, has found also a Belt of Giant Strength, which means that his hit point pool is just out of this world right now. 1,125 for him. And the only thing that Skutt can do is hit and run. Undead style. Go in, try and play a little bit of a hit and run style and attempting to take someone down here. Level 5.5 Death Knight at this point, so he is having a chance to hit level 6. Now we're not going to see his ultimate. We're going to see him with the, well, either you go into your aura on level 3, or you can obviously play around the Death Pact. But without a ground army, that would be a little bit of a weird move. In comes the last attempt, I guess, by Skutt to get a base here. Did he already queue this one up? And yes, he did. So, this is the last attempt for him. And now the big question, is Longwalk going to sniff that out? Got 2 Abominations also in the mix. Longwalk and 80 supply. I mean, he sits at 1,100 gold now and already moves his Tree of Eternity. And with more creeping going on the map, there's a little bit more gold now for Skutt. But again, the problem at the end of the day for him is really going to be the fact that he somehow has to deal with the army and just harass his opponent, because once his own expansion is taken, he is going to never be able to rely on any additional income here. And more damage for the Lich. Look at that monster. +6, +12, another +6 damage, and Orb of Corruption bonus. He's at +29 damage on the auto attacks. Yeah, and there's the Treant Scout. By now he knows what's up, and that's where the next attack is going to head it. So this is going to be the last stand of Skutt. If he can win this, it's going to be great for him. If he loses out on it, though, then it's pretty much GG right there. So yeah, takes down the Treant, but he needs that expansion. And talking expansions, yes, that Tree of Eternity is top left now. So he's going straight in for a bit of additional harass. High upkeep, Longwalk on 88 supply against the 49 that we're seeing for his opponent. And it's all about the Coil Nova right now. And it's about the Lich. It's about that absolute monster with the auto attack. But can you really make up for that big problem in terms of army size? Coil Nova greeting the Panda as he's trying to move in. In come the hits against the Dryad. One taken down after another. Immediately dodging out on the Breath of Fire with the Stone Form. Nicely done by the Undead as he's trying to snipe here. And that Lich is just hurting. I mean, that guy is just putting out the pain. But he's trying to fight the uphill battle quite literally now as Longwalk is moving in up the choke, trying to pressure his way through. Bomb is down, the second one about to fall. The Death Knight, can he pressure the heroes? Trying to save the bombs for now. Another Dryad falling, and once again the focus straight up onto the Panda. The Potion of Lesser Invulnerability in the inventory immediately being used here. Finally a little bit of income on the side of Skutt, but it might be too little too late. The Keeper on 5, 2 scrolls of healing in the inventory, and the Panda troubled for a moment, but if he can't kill him right now, he's just gonna be portaled out. There's the attack, there's the focus, and that... What? He loses it! He loses the Panda! No portal! No portal! Level 6 on the Death Knight! And the Keeper dies as well! What the fuck? Down goes the Death Knight though. Units only at this point for Longwalk, but it is enough for him to win the game. The GL is called, and that is Longwalk advancing to the next round of the Endgame Gear Masters, despite the fact that he just lost both heroes in the final fight.